Gene Key 47.6, Body of Glory. The highest states of consciousness are deeply human and ordinary. These are the opening lines of the Sage Contemplation of the 47.6. I felt called to share the insight that I received when I first read the Sage Contemplation of my Gene Key. I'm doing the Sage activation retreat at the moment with the Gene Keys team. And I happen to have the 47.6 in my life's work. And the 47 Gene Key is the shadow of oppression, the gift of transmutation, and the Siddhi of Transfiguration. When I first started my Gene Keys journey, this Gene Key was very scary to me. I was really afraid of diving deep into that. The shadow of oppression is one of those big energies that to me feel very visceral and very heavy. I experience the shadow of oppression in my body a lot whenever I feel that things are not going to plan or there's so much external pressures around me. The way I feel the oppression is a very deep, suffocating feeling that kind of pulls down on my chest. And when I add onto it the emotional um, heaviness and the mental heaviness, like all the thoughts, all the overwhelm, all the anxiety, it kind of tends to become very heavy and it weighs me down. As I said, when I first started my Gene Keys journey, the 47 was one of those keys that I was really, really afraid of. Now, like years down the line, I love the 47. It's one of those Gene Keys that I really, really love because I see the power in it and the magic in it. This gift of transmutation, the gift of alchemy, how things can change and how change can be a good thing. And I always have this image of how pressure on coal turns it into diamonds. That's the pressure, that's the image that always comes to my mind when I think of the transmutation gift. When I first read the Sage Contemplation of the 47.6, I kind of smiled a little bit because it hit on a lot of points um, that I was that I kind of get stuck in. And one of those points is um, whenever I feel the oppression, my first tendency is to go and distract myself or to go and try to do something about it, go and fix it, go and improve myself, um, do something. There's always this action that I need to do to improve it. In the old days, in my past, it was distraction, of course. It was like looking for easy things on the outside to keep me busy. Later, it became self-improvement and going on these, self-improvement workshops and reading books and learning modalities and doing meditations. And like I got stuck in that as well because I was trying to fix what is without accepting it first, without acknowledging it, without holding space for it. Like I was deeply ashamed of that, that the heaviness was there. I was deeply ashamed. I thought there was something wrong with me, that that I'm not there yet. There was always this idea that, why this again? Why does this keep coming up? But I've worked on it before. It keeps coming up. And my line 6 part of things was always looking to the future. So the line 6 has this big vision, and it's so far out in the future to the point that the line 6 gets really um, like unsatisfied and frustrated with the present, and it is so impatient. It wants to get to the future. It's never fast. Things are never going fast enough to get to the future. I'm going to read the Sage Contemplation of the 47.6 and share more. So here's how it goes. It is said of Jesus that the first thing he asked for on returning from his resurrection was, "Please, might you find me something to eat?" This quirky line, the 47.6, is as transcendent as it is humbly human, which perhaps encapsulates the paradox of the man mentioned. The body of glory refers to the higher dimensional field of the human aura, which requires more than a cursory understanding. We build and strengthen our body of glory every time we experience moments of awe and epiphany. One is invited to explore here the mystery teachings known as or it's the 7 sacred seals in the Gene Keys. The other side of the equation is the humor here in this line, and perhaps even some irreverence. The tendency of those who have known and attained the highest states of consciousness is not to be puritanical or holy, but to be human and ordinary. Thus, there is a trickster in this line who delights in testing us for signs of spiritual vanity. And I love how spiritual vanity was mentioned. I happen to have the Shadow of Vanity, Gene Key 12, in my radiance sphere. So well, that's another topic. For now, I want to come back to this body of glory and how this whole work, this whole spiritual work, spiritual journey is really happening inside the physical body. That's the insight that keeps showing up for me, that no matter how much we think that those higher states of consciousness, they're like their transcendence. We want to transcend this body. We want to reach something out there or far away. The realization that it's not something out there, but something inside and something very connected to the physical vessel that we have. That's the insight. And like appreciating that all of this is happening in the physical body. And this is so true because what helped me get out of my distraction phase or my self-improvement phase was when I learned somatic practices and when I started working with the body, with my body. When I started using breath work or somatic movement to meet the oppression that I was feeling on the inside. That was when change started to happen, when I was willing to sit with that pressure inside my body, with that oppression that I was feeling, to sit with it instead of, trying to create a story about it in my mind or trying to fix it. Just sitting with it with my presence in the now without making it go away or without shaming it or making it wrong, that was when things started to shift for me. And when I started really to fall in love with the 47 gene key, because I realized this power that is there inside, the ability to be able to sit with the pressure, there is a very strong power in that. And to meet it there physically. And to remember that, okay, if all this transformation is really happening on a physical level, then the physical vessel also needs care. It needs to have its nutrients. It needs to have its sleep. It needs to have its rest. I'm going to read the second part of the sage contemplation, which is the mythos. This life may be the last in a cycle of lifetimes in which a great inner work is achieved. Because of this, there may be a feeling of things falling away for you, which can be confusing to the human. The journey of the eternal soul in form for us to take in, submerged as we often are in the sufferings of the world. Expand your vista of reality in this life and witness a sweet ending. You will need to give plenty of time to explore the mysteries in order that you can fully appreciate your good fortune. A life of letting go and embracing the awe of existence. Gratitude. This is Richard's read Mythos. Thank you for listening.